I'm pretty convinced from my own experience and from working with chiropractors for years that being a chiropractor is both awesome and incredibly frustrating and difficult. And I thought it would be interesting to just take a moment today to talk a little bit about that on the podcast and hopefully offer a word of encouragement to chiropractors out there if you're feeling a little bit frustrated with being a chiropractor and feeling that duality that comes along with being a chiropractor. So we're going to talk about that on this podcast. My name is Jerry. I help chiropractors with websites and local search. I was a chiropractor for 9 years, and now I do this. So if you'd like me to help you with websites and local search, you can reach out to me through rocketchiro.com. If you'd like to go beyond the podcast with additional helps, tips regarding business and marketing, my Next Step program is a great way to do that. It's really great for new chiropractors, chiropractors that are feeling a little bit stuck. So you can find all of that at rocketchiro.com. So I talk a lot about marketing and websites and SEO on this podcast, and I thought it would be fun today because this has just been on my mind. Like, I talk to chiropractors all the time, and I find that there's the world that we live in where people have like a prejudice towards chiropractors. And to some level that bleeds over to chiropractors and their psyche and how they look at themselves. And I think that a lot of chiropractors are really insecure about being chiropractors. And I wish that was different. If I could magically change something or gift you with something as a chiropractor, if you're feeling really frustrated or you're feeling like you're really struggling or insecure, is to just help you like have an internal resolve with the fact that it's okay to be a chiropractor. It's good to be a chiropractor. It's great to be a chiropractor. Chiropractors do great work. You're not lesser than. And I know that for myself, like when I got into chiropractic, I first went to a chiropractor when I was a freshman in college. I was having trouble with headaches. Nothing else was really helping. My mom had gone to a chiropractor, I think pretty much my whole life. As long as I can remember, she would go to the chiropractor, but I had never gone myself. And honestly, I thought it was kind of a weird place. I thought it was kind of hokey and kind of weird. It smelled funny. I had no idea what they were doing. And it just didn't seem like a real doctor. Like that was sort of my opinion. And I didn't even want to go to the chiropractor because of my own prejudice. I thought they were quacks and not a real doctor. And like, this is the last person I want to take advice from. And it turns out that was right. I mean, I did try everything else and it was the last person I took advice from, but it turns out the chiropractor helped me. And I've been blessed. Like I've had only two main chiropractors. I've been adjusted by a lot of people because being around other chiropractors, you get adjusted by other people. But I've had two main chiropractors in my life. And both of them are exceptional at adjusting and both exceptional with their hands. And I think that that is such a crucial component to being a chiropractor. And it's something I do wish that more chiropractors took seriously, is the art of adjusting, because I think that's our primary gift that we have to offer to humanity. And so the prejudice exists. It's a real thing. I experienced it in my own life. I had a change of heart because of my experience with chiropractic. I think that's how a lot of people are. When I was in practice, I actually enjoyed the skeptic that came in because I can relate. When somebody told me like, I don't believe in chiropractic, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Or I think chiropractors are quacks. Yeah, I get it. I understand that. And if we're going to be honest, like if we're going to have an honest conversation, in-house conversation from chiropractor to chiropractor, some of that reputation has been earned. Chiropractors have made ridiculous claims over the years, still do. Some chiropractors have committed fraud, whether that is fraudulently making claims or signing people up for things they don't need or doing things like that, or perhaps even fraudulently billing insurance and things of that nature. That's something that happens in chiropractic. There's also just deception. And it's sort of what I said before, where it's like you're making claims that you can't back up, saying that things happen that you can't prove. Like there's just stuff like that happens within chiropractic. But the reality is this, like, even though like a bad apple sort of spoils the bunch, this is true for all professions. Like there are crooked surgeons and there are crooked medical doctors and there are crooked dentists and there are crooked insurance agents. And actually, I think all insurance agents are crooked along with lawyers, right? There's another bias. So those things are real. Like we can't refuse to acknowledge that those things are real. Like it seems like the only time chiropractors show up in the news, it's something horrible and terrible that they did. And those things happen, but that's not most chiropractors. Like most chiropractors just want to help people and make a good living doing it. Like it's as simple as that. And regardless of what your technique is or how you're going about doing that, the vast majority of chiropractors genuinely want to help people and want to make a good living doing it. And I don't think that's too much to ask. If you, as much money and time and effort as it requires to become a chiropractor, I think you should be able to help people and make a good living doing it. And then on top of it, if you add the extra stress of running a business, which is what most chiropractors have to do on some capacity, even if you're running a micro practice, on some capacity, you have to be an owner, kind of leader, boss person of your existence. You don't just get to go to work and do a job. For most chiropractors, some do, but most don't. And if you add all that stuff together, I don't think that wanting to make a good living and wanting to help people and those things going together, I don't think that's too much to ask. I think that's perfectly fair. I think the problem that chiropractors have, besides the insecurity, because I think there is a built-in insecurity, but I think part of the problem is that chiropractors often don't keep the main thing the main thing. And there's extremes to this. And I tend to be a moderate when it comes to chiropractic. I think that the far right kind of energy, light, nervous system only kind of chiropractic, brain doctors, I think that's too far to one direction. I also think that if you're just doing pain management and kind of a glorified physical therapy, you've gone too far the other way. And so because of my sort of moderate opinion of what chiropractic is and how it should be positioned in the world, most people just don't agree with me. Like, maybe I shouldn't say most people. I would just say the most loud and vocal people don't agree with me because I'm in the middle. And I think that the main thing that chiropractic, I shouldn't say I think, the main thing that chiropractic has to offer is that we optimize the spine and its function. Like, that's what we do. Now, does that affect pain? Yes. Does that affect a person's wellness? Yes. Does that affect things that go beyond musculoskeletal things? Yes, I believe so. I think we can definitively say that. And if you aren't saying that, you're just probably not being honest about what we're seeing in a clinical setting and also with research and history and all of the stuff that would indicate that there are other things that are affected besides the musculoskeletal system. I mean, this would be true if you're going to say that like there's no wellness beyond musculoskeletal component to chiropractic, that's like saying there's no wellness, non-musculoskeletal benefit to the gym. Like, that's silly. Obviously, the most benefit you're going to get from the gym is you're going to improve your strength and, you're going to improve your, probably lose some weight, look a little better. Like, there's some obvious things that are pretty like low-hanging fruit when it comes to the gym, but also you could be taking less medications. Your heart could get better. Your sleep could improve. Your sex life could get better. Like, there's all kinds of things that can happen from going to the gym that aren't directly related to lifting weights and running on a treadmill. And the same thing is true for chiropractic. So, those secondary things, and I would even consider pain relief a secondary thing. They're secondary to, like, we optimize the health and function of the spine. Like, that's what we do. And if we don't keep that the main thing and explain it from that standpoint outward, I think that we're missing sort of a guiding light, sort of a North Star with the profession. And how do we go about doing that? I think for most chiropractors, it's the adjustment. And that's why I said I was blessed with chiropractors that were great adjusters, because I think that's so incredibly important. Now, here's the kicker, and this is the kick in the pants for those of you who love the adjustment, but just aren't good at people or business or whatever. You don't get to be a great chiropractor and help a lot of people and make a good living just because you're good at adjusting. You don't. And that sucks. And this is actually one of the reasons that I started emphasizing so much like business and marketing and like my Next Step program, where I talk about the foundational fundamentals of business. And I always say you have to be a competent small business owner. You don't have to be a CEO. You don't have to be boss lady. Like, you don't have to be the most amazing, you don't have to be the next Steve Jobs or whatever that happens to be. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But you do have to be a competent small business owner. You have to be a competent leader of people, or you're not going to have the opportunity to help people and make a good living doing it. And that's regardless of how good you are at adjusting. But let's suppose you are amazing at managing people and marketing and running a business, but you're subpar at adjusting. Well, then you're just under delivering. And I think there's a lot of that in chiropractic. I think that there are a lot of chiropractors who could be and should be better at adjustments. And that doesn't mean you can't do therapies, and it doesn't mean you can't do acupuncture or shockwave or have massage in your office. Like, I don't care about any of that stuff. I used to think that chiropractic was a very specific adjustment type and a very specific way of going about it, and everything else just sort of a dirty mixer, and it's not real chiropractic. I don't think that anymore. I think that chiropractic is the health, that it's a profession that is a drug-free help and optimization for the spine. That's what we do. And we do that primarily through adjustments. And so if we look at the profession, when you say, well, there's an insecurity problem, which I don't know how to fix that, other than I think the better you get at being a chiropractor, and and this is probably why I talk about the adjustment, is because the better you get with your hands, and the more you see the results you get as a chiropractor just with your hands, the more confident you can be, and you really start to like brush off those biases, because it's stupid. When I was in chiropractic and when I was a practicing chiropractor, I was really good with my hands. It was something that I've sort of naturally had a knack for, even as a student. I was always pretty good with my hands. And so I got to see the results and benefits of being a good adjuster early and often in my practice. And so when people were thinking I was lesser than, like, I'm not a real doctor, I'm not this, I'm not that, or they would crack jokes or make fun of chiropractic, it didn't bother me, because I knew that I was good at what I did, and I saw the results that it got. And I thought it was just silly that it's like, oh, you can get these kind of results with this type of care, which has such little downside. But then you're going to go do this other thing that might work, but the potential downside is really, really high. Things like surgeries and other, medications and other things that they very well could work, but the downside is potentially very high. Who's the stupid person here? And so getting rid of that insecurity for me, and I think for a lot of chiropractors, the ones I see that are less insecure about being a chiropractor are good with their hands, and they know what they do. And I think that if you just got clarity on what it is that you're trying to do, you're trying to improve the health and functionality of the spine and all of the things related to that. And you're doing it primarily through adjustments and then committing to that. Because what should you do? Like, this is, I guess, the point of this podcast is this. It's just acknowledge that these biases are there and they might be in your own heart. Understand that chiropractic is amazing, and chiropractors get great results even when they're not great adjusters. And the better you are at adjusting and the better your results are, the more those insecurities and the more of those feelings of inferiority, they just go away. It would be better for you. It's better for the profession. And so the whole takeaway here is be happy that you're a chiropractor. Be proud that you're a chiropractor. You're not a lower class citizen because of that. And if you aren't happy about it and you're not proud about it, you're probably not as good at it as you should be. And so that brings us to the keep the main thing, but commit to getting better at adjusting. There are a lot of chiropractors out there teaching adjustment techniques. And I think some of them are silly and some of them aren't. And I have opinions about what's great and what's not, but you have to find what you're good at. I mean, that's ultimately the thing. I mean, when I started doing upper cervical, I was doing side posture, drop table, Blair style upper cervical. And it turns out that I wasn't great at it. I just got okay results. And I went to a knee chest doctor, and I remember the first time I got my knee chest, I got a knee chest upper cervical adjustment because I thought the guy was trying to kill me. I was just like, oh my gosh, I would never do that to someone. That is such a violent adjustment. But I got great results. And then I tried it, and it turned out I was really good at it. And so it's you may have a thought that oh, that's a silly technique, or that's what I think you should do what you're best at. And I say that to chiropractors all the time when they'll ask what's the best technique or what? And my answer is the best technique is the one that you're best at. And I know that's sort of a generic answer, but if you want to be more secure in your position as a chiropractor, just get better at what you do. find a technique that works for you. Like if you're a really big person, you may be able to do certain things. If you're a smaller person, you may have to do other things. I'm really tall, so like me adjusting on a knee chest table the way that they teach at seminars is kind of hard because I can't actually get my body in that position. So I have to change the position. You would never want to watch me do it and say that's how you should do it, because I had to modify things for me. But I was figuring out how to do it best for me, and that's ultimately what you need to do. Figure out the techniques that are best for you and then commit to that. But there are so many chiropractors and so many platforms and so many meetings and so many ways that you could get better at adjusting that you're just not doing it. And then the last thing I would say is this, and it sort of was one of the points I made earlier, is that you do have to commit to being a competent small business owner, a competent leader. Like those are the three things that I would say that you need to do. You need to become like just secure in yourself as a chiropractor, meaning like just accept the fact that that's who you are and it's cool. It's awesome. Like anybody that thinks otherwise, screw them. 2, become better at adjustments. That'll help the patients. It'll help your results. It'll help your business. It'll also help you be more confident. And thirdly, get better at running a business. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have multiple clinics. You don't have to have 25 staff members. But you do have to have a structure. You do have to have a method to your madness. You have to have a brand. You have to have a voice out in the community. Like if you don't know who you are, and how in the world are you going to communicate that to anybody else? I see this all the time with my website clients. They come to me and it's like they want help with their website, but part of what I do with the website is help to define the voice on their site and for their business. Because when you look at a site that's kind of generically thrown up or marketing that's generically been pieced together over the years, you're like, there's no coherent thought that's here. Who are you and what do you have to offer to people? And if you aren't communicating that clearly because you don't even know who you are and you've never even thought about these things, that's hindering your ability to help people and make a good living doing it. So those are the things. Chiropractic is awesome. Being a chiropractor is awesome. You get to see things and do things that most people don't see and most people don't do. It's pretty awesome. And as much as it can suck sometimes, the stress and the money and the insurance and the patients and all the stuff can suck. When you have somebody that says thank you because you changed their life, you help them when nobody else can help them. It's pretty awesome. And it happens a lot if you're good at what you do. So I'm done, guys. I'm out of here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. If you know a chiropractor who doesn't listen to the podcast, I'd love for you to share this with them or just share it on your socials. If you want to leave a review for the podcast, you could do it at Apple Podcasts, or you can leave a review for Rocket Chiro on Google. There is a link to our Google business profile in the footer of rocketchiro.com. If you want to work together, reach out to me through the website. I'm done. I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later.